for the people that don't, my name is Gareth. I'm a software engineer / entrepreneur / quantified selfer. And I gave a similar presentation to this 2 months ago, which some of you may have saw. So I'm just going to do a quick abridged version of that and then show a bit of new stuff too. The part of quantified self that I'm really interested in is building tools to popularize these techniques. We've already seen 2 examples of really successful quantified self experiments today, and there are other super powerful ones that have come out in the last few years. And I really think that if we get these tools to the masses, that some really cool stuff could come out of it. Anyway, so I've been building my own vision of this, which I'll show you in just a sec. But to preface that, my two theories in this area are that quantified self is most interesting when you take a holistic view of your life. There's a lot of apps out there that just track your fitness or track your sleep cycle and stuff like that, but the really interesting stuff happens when you track all of those and find the interesting correlations between them. Things like what's a good one? When I watch TV before I go to sleep, the quality of my sleep is lower, and so I'm grumpier the next day. And that's actually, you can actually see that in my data, I'll show you in a second. But, so finding those actionable insights and then using those to improve yourself. The second theory is that a lot of the analysis phase of quantified self, like so you have your data now, what is it telling me, what do I do with it? A lot of that can actually be taken care of by computers using just statistical techniques. And so, what I've got for you today, it hasn't actually changed that much since September, but. So this is my dashboard. I don't have it on the screen, so I can't see what I'm doing. But these are all the things that I'm tracking, so mood, breakfast, if I have like a romantic encounter that day, which, you know, it's a big deal sometimes. Waking hour, teeth brushing, how much productive I am, all stuff like that. And I update this data through text messages on my phone. So once a day or however often I set it, I get a text message from this tool, which doesn't really have a name right now, but I'd love if you have any ideas. And then I reply, so it'll text me something like, how many cups of coffee did you have today? Or what's your mood? 1 to 5, and I just reply 5, or coffee 3 cups, or something like that. And it gets recorded in a big database. So that's the data entry part. The really cool stuff happens when you get into the analysis phase. That usually takes a second. So that's just a quick, the graph didn't load, that's because I'm not on the internet. But so that's just a quick overview of the analytics, but you can drill down and get just a huge crap ton.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you want a hotspot or like Wi-Fi?
I don't really need it.
No,
but
I wanted to see graphs.
I'm going to show you a visualization in a minute. Alright, that's pretty cool anyway. But yeah, so this is like a big statistical readout right now. So it's not super accessible, but it's what exists. So you get like average and median. Currently I like Mondays and Fridays, but hate the middle of the week. See that in the average of my mood on those days. And you get into, this is where the cool stuff happens. Covariance measures how two statistics are related. So if a positive covariance means that as one goes up, the other goes up. So something that would be positively correlated would be
good your sleep is.
Yeah, good sleep and good mood or something like that.
So the less you sleep, the more you feel comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the big ones from my data. It's because, and I already knew that because I tend to oversleep. I tend to get like more than 9 hours, and when I do that, I just feel like shit. And so, but that really came out from my data, which is really cool. And correlation's a similar one with that. And then you get into cross-sectioning the data, which is like kind of technical, but anyway.
toast oatmeal later.
Yeah.
You don't think-
Yeah, and that's another cool thing. You can do, so some of these analytics are numbers, or some of these metrics are numbers, but others are text, like what I had for breakfast this morning. But there's still some pretty creative things that you can do with that data to turn it into numbers and then do like actual analytics on it. It's pretty freaky. So yeah, so that's the tool I've built. It's actually good to go. I'm looking for beta or alpha testers right now, so anyone in this room can use it tomorrow if they just talk to me. So what I was doing this week was, I've been using this since about May. So I have a pretty good data set behind me now, and I started thinking about cool ways I can visualize it, just play around with it a bit. And I came up with this idea, and then later discovered that people had had this idea 50 years ago, called a correlation heat map, which is, correlation is like covariance. It measures how much two things are related to each other. And so if you think of all these metrics, they each have a correlation to each other. So you can plot this in 2 dimensions, and then show the correlation between the x and the y coordinate as a color. So this took me like 100 hours to actually put together. I was screwing around through lots of statistical libraries and stuff, but I finally came up with my own correlation heat map, which is right up there. And there's actually some funny things you can see in it if you look closely. Like just off the top, like the big, oh, so by the way, dark red means that it's, dark red means it's negatively correlated. So one thing happens and the other one doesn't. And a perfect example of this is productivity hours is perfectly correlated with productivity hours. And that's the line, the diagonal line you can see down the middle. The opposite of this is, I'm not sure if you guys can read this text, but this one here is not brushing my teeth. And that one is perfectly, the big red one there is because it's perfectly negatively correlated with brushing my teeth, because they're the opposite thing. So that's just it's a bit of an intro. Some of the other interesting ones is you can see the sleep hours one right up there. That means that I should sleep less, because as sleep hours go down, my mood goes up. A funny one that Scott pointed out to me on the bus down here was the top row, girls, yes, so I had like a female encounter or something the day before. It's darker than all the rows below it in here. So that means that when I'm around more girls, I get less done. All of these things happen less. Which I guess makes sense when you think about it, but it's hilarious that came out of the data. Trying to think of some of the other rules.
Even your mood.
Hmm?
Sorry, even your mood.
Yeah, I don't know what's up there. Might be a Jay-Z song about that. But yeah, so that's what I spent my last week doing, and I'm pretty proud of it. And yeah, questions, comments, insults?
Have you considered coloring your heat map red-green so that you can easily pick out the possible?
Yeah, absolutely. This is I literally got this working last night, so that's on the list for sure. I have a couple other color schemes, but this was the best one so far.
What are the big, like, I guess, aha points from
The big hot
like
ones?
insights that you've gotten from this kind of correlation map?
Well, this is, for now, it's just like, I knew a lot of the things that you can see in this before, just from my own readout, but like, the mood sleep hours one is the biggest insight I've had from this data. There's a couple of, what's another one? There's a funny correlation in there where I'm happier on days that I don't brush my teeth. we actually figured this out 2 months ago. That one really confused me for a while. And then someone pointed out to me that I'm probably thinking about causality in the wrong direction there. So I was happier on that day, so maybe there was like a party or a big event, and I went out drinking, and I got home and I just passed out without brushing my teeth. So,
This causality, this is confounding.
sorry?
Confounding, when you have yet another reason that is the cause of these.
Yeah, a hidden variable, exactly. And that's actually one of the things I want to add to this soon is when you find those correlations that don't make sense, that it starts to ping you as like, what is actually going on here? Maybe there's a metric that you should be tracking. Like the watching TV before going to sleep thing was big.
So do you expect this to change? So now that you've got 5 months of data now,
Yeah.
is there a point to continue tracking it? Do you
Absolutely.
actually expect it to
Like
change?
I'm actually just in the last 3 months. If I had done this at the beginning of September, it would have looked very different because, well, my life changed dramatically going from school in August to just, oh, what do I do now in the fall? And so there was actually a lot of patterns that were really obvious in August and September that just like disappeared after like September and October. And so another thing we could do here is show the change in the heat map over time.
Yeah.
That could be really interesting. There are some other visualizations I'm thinking of doing. One of them is these are difficult to explain until you see them, but showing like for a particular metric like mood, showing the values of the other metrics that optimize or minimize mood. So you can imagine that my mood is highest when I get 7 hours of sleep, something like that. You can see that in that data if you look for it. And it's lowest when I get greater than 11 hours of sleep. But you can do this for other things too. You can do this for like what I eat for breakfast. Like my mood is highest when I forget what it is right now. Oatmeal is the middle one, but like highest is probably muffin or something like that. And so these are all cross sections of the mood data, and you can actually plot these in a histograph. So this is a line graph showing that like as you go towards the far end, those are the metrics that impact your mood positively the most. So I'm not sure if I described that well, but I'm sure I'll have it to show you.
So you could engineer the perfect day.
Yeah, you could.
And then or the worst day. You
Yeah.
just do Groundhog Day and repeat it over and over.
Yeah, just do all these 5 things and you'll have the best day of your life or something like that.
Can you text you your data back, like reverse, tell
Sorry?
you what to do? Like,
Yeah.
instead of asking you a question of what you did, it can tell you what to do. based
That's
on
a funny
your
idea, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
Right
job
now,
is just doing that right now for a lot of the metrics. Is they learn what makes you happy and then they actually tell you what you should do.
Your sleep, do you track it using a device or just manually?
I just track it manually right now. But one of the things I'd like to do is, I haven't looked into much to like the Zio headset or one of the iPhone tracking apps, but hopefully they have an open data API, or I'm sure you can export your data out of it somewhere, and just plug that right into this. That's another big thing I'd like to do, just like start gathering data from other sources. Because this is active data input right now, which is not ideal. Ideally, you would just like go through your day and data would get collected for you. So that's a big thing I'm going to be working on in the next few months.
Those probes, those text messages, do they arrive to you randomly throughout the day, or are there certain?
You can specify what time of day is best. You can specify morning, afternoon, or evening. And within those particular time periods, it's fairly random. It's not explicitly randomized, but just because of the way the system works, it's not predictable right now.
Can you kind of plan for some to arrive at the most opportune time for you to report? For example, if you have one about what you had for breakfast, can you get it to arrive right after breakfast in your schedule?
Yeah, so what I do for breakfast is I have it sent to me in the afternoon. Because by then I probably know what I had for breakfast, hopefully. And so that takes care of that. But like you could You could target it specifically, send it to me at 10:30 or something like that. You can also update it whenever you want to. So if you're just eating, if you finish breakfast and just, oh, I should update my life tracker, and it's just breakfast, oatmeal, raisins.
And do you envision that the beta testers will be able to configure both, you know, the categories, I guess, and like when they would receive the messages and all that? Like how much?
Yeah, it's totally configurable right now. What was the tab I didn't show you? You can track whatever you want. So I showed you mine, but you can choose to track any arbitrary data about your life. Though there are some defaults that we suggest. So yeah, you can choose when to send it, and how frequently you get it, and what the specific ping is that you get on your cell phone. And yeah.
If you could get it at a certain time, I think that would be awesome. Because there's some things that I don't remember 2 hours later.
You think? Yeah.
If you can start playing around with Keep Track on the Android, for example, and that'll let you set reminders with quantities or even text notes. So
I
that
recommend
one is
it for that as well.
What is it called? What is it
Keep
called?
track.
Keep
Track.
track?
Yeah, that's Laga.
Can you answer them all? When you get the queries? Yeah.
One of the things I found was when I was starting out, I wasn't sure how disruptive it would be, but after 2 weeks, it was just like second nature. I get a ping. So I usually don't even wait for all of the notifications to come. I just get one. And it's like, oh, I should update everything. 10 seconds later, it's just forget about it. It's pretty seamless.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you.